Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. Do European outlook for today's second video. So it's also on Thursday, have a look at the weather for the next week, 10 days in detail across Europe. I should get time for that for you in a moment. Just say that first video today was our 6 AM upload on a 10 to 14 day with all of the break features coming up for you later on date as well. So please like, share, subscribe on videos. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Right, so we're going to begin with situation across Europe today. We've got a ridge of high pressure dominating across the north and west. It has done throughout the summer, really into the first day of meteorological autumn record today, first day of September, but the ridge goes on across north and west Europe. However, you go into the northeast, you've got a trough of low pressure across northwestern Russia and the Baltic Sea areas. Bring down cool, showery, northerly winds, and that's been the case throughout much of the summer as well. Up in this northeastern corner has been significantly cooler and more showery a lot of the time. Down the Mediterranean, we've got relatively weak pressure there, so not low pressure yet, but pressure is sort of weakening, I think, across southern parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures look quite cold across the far north and northeast of Europe, so northern Scandinavia into these Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, looking pretty cool through there. Meanwhile, across much of southern Europe, it remains hot, nowhere near as hot as it was, nowhere near as hot as it was earlier on in the summer, but still pretty hot through most of the Mediterranean, and the warmth extending up through France into the Low Countries and southern parts of Germany as well. Precipitation-wise, you look like that. So showery in the northeast of Europe with those cool northerly winds. We've got some heavy showers and thunderstorms from the Balkans along the Adriatic coast down towards the far eastern part of the Mediterranean. They do become more scattered as we get down towards the Greek islands. So further west, a lot of dry weather across central, northern and western Europe, although there are some heavy showers beginning to develop through the Bay of Biscay. They're going to drift northwards and herald a change for parts of western Europe in the coming days. Temperature-wise, look like this, really quite cold actually, across the extreme north and northeast of Europe already. Quite an autumnal feel up there, central north part of Scandinavia, around these Baltic Sea states into northwestern Russia, quite a chilly feel through there. But most of Europe actually looking quite hot, particularly so through the Mediterranean. Temperatures again widely into the low 30s Celsius. And then up western side of Europe, looks pretty warm through much of Spain into France. Temperatures into the 30s Celsius through there. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll see the lower pressure beginning to break out across western parts of Europe as high pressure begins to retreat away to the far north and northeast. Upper air temperatures look cold across Scandinavia, or most parts of Scandinavia anyway, and into northeastern Europe and northwestern parts of Russia. Still pretty hot though through the Mediterranean, becoming warmer actually up the western side, so the warm extending back into the UK, into England anyway, through the course of tomorrow. Generally warmish through western and southern parts of Europe, coolest in the north and in the northeast of Europe. Precipitation-wise, so still quite showery in that far northeastern corner with both chilly northerly winds. Further heavy showers and thunderstorms here between the Adriatic and the Black Sea, with some quite big downpours through there. Some of those beginning to affect the Greek islands as well, perhaps. Most of the Med looks reasonably dry, but along the southern shore of the Côte d'Azur there, some heavy showers and thunderstorms developing and may become more widespread actually across France through tomorrow, and some of those shall begin to drift northwards in towards England and Wales, with wet weather starting ahead in towards western parts of Scotland as well. Temperature-wise, it's still cool across much of Scandinavia and northeastern Europe, otherwise quite a warm scene. Hottest probably in the southern and southwestern part of Europe, through the central part of the Med and towards Spain, Portugal, and then up this western side again, particularly through France, in towards Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, and western parts of Germany, and some of that warmth getting into southeastern parts of England as well. Saturday, we'll see low pressure deepening in the Atlantic and starting to move towards the west of Europe as high pressure again retreating further and further northwards. It looks like we might start to bring up some hotter air across eastern, southeastern parts of Europe as the wind begins to get into south. Around temperatures look hot through the Med, cool across the far north and northeast Europe, and generally pretty warm through many of these western parts of Europe as well, with that area of low pressure drawing up southerly winds. Precipitation looks like that, so showery in the northeast of Europe, still into the northwest of Russia, but large portions of Scandinavia mostly dry. Much of eastern Europe looking relatively dry, but showers and thunderstorms will ease off actually, I think, on Saturday from around the Black Sea down to the southeastern corner. The unsettled weather transferring more towards the west, I think. So heavy showers and thunderstorms through France, so those pushing into the Low Countries, possibly into southern and western parts of Germany as well. Some storms kicking off over northern Italy, and then further wet weather bands of heavy showery rain moving in towards Ireland and parts of the UK as well. Large portions of Spain and Portugal, most of them then looking mainly dry on Saturday. Temperatures are cool in northern parts of Europe, but significantly warmer across southern and western regions. And then into Sunday, high pressure is trying to stand its ground over Scandinavia and fight off this area of low pressure in the Atlantic. Otherwise, across southern Europe, pressure is weakening generally. Upper air temperatures looking quite hot through most of the Mediterranean, and that heat trying to push northwards in towards France and some central parts of Europe as well. Meanwhile, the cool upper air temperature continue across Scandinavia and northeastern parts of Europe and western Europe, generally looking quite warm, but perhaps some slightly cooler air beginning to move in from off the Atlantic, probably behind this front here, which is going to be a cold front, I think. That brings a band of wet weather in towards Ireland, the UK, possibly western parts of France, and will be followed by heavy showers. Otherwise, many northern western areas actually look drier on Sunday, with the showers transferring a little bit further eastwards to some of the central and eastern parts of Europe. Again, most of the looks dry, but some heavy showers and thunderstorms possible over the Italian mountains. It remains cool and autumnal across Scandinavia and the northeast of Europe. Otherwise, summer clinging on, with the temperatures across most parts of Europe remaining quite warm, especially so again through much of the Med and up the western side. Then we move through into Monday, and low pressure continues to sit to the west of Ireland, throwing up further bands of rain into the western part of Europe. Meanwhile, further eastwards, we're trying to draw up some hotter air from the south. Upper air temperature shows up quite nicely. The hottest upper air temperatures are through the Med, but some of that heat is extending northwards as well. It looks like the coolest of the upper air temperatures begin to retreat out of Scandinavia a little bit and back in towards Arctic portions of northwestern Russia. And then with the low pressure out in the Atlantic, we're drawing up some warmer air up the western side of Europe as well. Precipitation on Monday looks like that, so the wettest weather will be with the area of low pressure to west of Ireland and the UK. That will bring further showers, if not longer spells, rain, maybe thunder up the western side of Europe. Central, northern and eastern areas will shall become much more scattered than most parts of the Mediterranean, actually looking dry on Monday. Warmth continues in this western side of Europe. Temperatures into the mid to upper 20s Celsius, probably through parts of Spain, into France, into western Germany, and also into the Low Countries too. Beginning to turn a little bit cooler though into Ireland and the UK. And the coolest of the temperature beginning to ease a little bit across northern, northeastern parts of Europe. Generally quite an autumnal scene though for Scandinavia and the northeast of Europe. Otherwise, summer goes on. Into Tuesday, this area of low pressure deepening in the Atlantic and moving further in towards the UK and Ireland. Meanwhile, pressure weakens further across central and eastern parts of Europe, and it looks like it's trying to bring in another push of cooler northerly winds into the far north and northeast of Europe. Upper air temperatures look like that, so again quite cool for central northern parts of Scandinavia into those northeastern portions of Europe. Otherwise, a pretty warm scene with the hottest of the temperatures around the Mediterranean extending northeastwards and gradually pushing a little bit eastwards, further eastwards as well, I think, on Tuesday. Precipitation looks like that, a little bit showery across parts of the Baltic Sea and into northern parts of Scandinavia. Some heavy showers and thunderstorms beginning to break out across central and eastern parts of Europe, triggered by that warmth, gradually get pushed eastwards. But the most unsettled weather is out to west again. Ireland, UK, France, probably the Low Countries, maybe Denmark and western Germany can expect heavy showers, long spells of rain, maybe thunderstorms on Tuesday. Most parts of the Med looking mainly dry once again. Temperatures are looking like that, still cool and autumnal across large portions of Scandinavia and northeast Europe, otherwise reasonably warm with the warmth transferring eastwards with time. Into Wednesday, low pressure dominates across western parts of Europe, and again we've got another push of cooler air into far north and northeast of Europe as well. The upper air temperatures look like that. The heat from the Med is extending further eastwards into some of these eastern, southeastern parts of Europe. Cold air across northern parts of Scandinavia trying to push southwards and in between got this area of low pressure with near normal temperatures really through much of the UK and Ireland. Precipitation looks like that, so probably a band of heavy rain, maybe thunderstorms pushing through Germany in towards Poland on Wednesday, then following on behind we have the unsettled weather from off the Atlantic with showers or longer spells of rain through Denmark, many parts of Germany, France, Ireland and also the UK. The Mediterranean, the dry weather goes on down there, and then we have a different weather type in the north of Europe and the northeast, showery up there, and again as with last week there might be some early season snowfalls through Arctic parts of Scandinavia through the Arctic Circle. Temperature-wise, cold across the far north of Europe and generally quite cool through much of Scandinavia and northeastern Europe. The heat is being pushed further eastwards from Poland in towards the Black Sea and then out to west, reasonably warm across these western areas, but probably not as warm as it is earlier on in the week. Thursday, we'll see low pressure dominating across western parts of Europe, and this low pressure is gradually pushing further eastwards as well, with time the heat being restricted further and further towards southern, eastern, southeastern parts of Europe. It looks pretty hot through the Balkans though, and down in towards Greece, Turkey, Romania. So that's where the heat is being pushed to as we get into the second half of next week. Meanwhile, the far north of Europe again continues to look very cool and autumnal through there. So precipitation, yes, lots of heavy showers, long spells, rain, thunder across western parts of Europe, and that extending further and further eastwards with time. Cool and showery Scandinavia and northeast Europe, and then most of the Mediterranean away from northern Italy, looking mostly dry. Very warm to hot and sunny, hottest temperatures through the Med and into this eastern, southeastern part of Europe, gradually getting cooler in the west of Europe, I think, as we get through to Thursday, cooling down from the UK, Ireland and France, and really quite chilly indeed, and cold you would say, across large portions of Scandinavia. I'll just run you on to day 10, so how things look Friday next week, turning increasingly showery and with trough of low pressure across many parts of Europe, and then into weekend on Friday, and then into weekend Saturday the 10th and Sunday the 11th. Central western areas turn a little bit warmer with southerly winds, but deepening low pressure with the remains, it has to be said, of tropical storms and or hurricanes trying to push into the western side of Europe as well. And also complex pattern, but probably continuing unsettled in western parts of Europe. The warmest weather in the southern part of Europe, and mainly dry, but probably quite cool in the far north. Okay, so an interesting week's weather to come. Definitely we're breaking the dry spell across western parts of Europe. There is going to be some rain to come, and we'll have a look at that, of course, for the UK in our 10 to 14 dayer. We'll do European Outlook all over again next Thursday, but for this week's European Outlook, that's all for now. And thank you so much for watching.